So, something I've learned just now, that's going to probably come into play during this episode, is that with this cold being all over my head, whenever I laugh, like, any harder than fake, I start crying a lot.
So then we'll know. It'd be like tears of truth. It'll be like, you're not laughing any harder than fake right now. She's crying. Update. It's for real.
It's true. True tears. True love.
Hello, and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about the things that they're really, really ridiculously excited about. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hey, new catchphrase.
Yeah, do you guys like it? Ben,
Yeah,
do you like
I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It caught me off guard.
That was the plan.
I'm really, really, really excited about it.
Good.
Nice.
So, I need to apologize in advance to our listeners for being, sick.
As a dog.
As a dog. I'm not actually sick as a dog. I feel a lot better than yesterday. We had to push recording out a day because I was too sick as a dog to record yesterday. But now I'm only sick as like a small dog, like a Pomeranian. So I do have a tiny little fever. So I asked Ian what I was going to do for podcast fuel, and he was like, "You're sick. You can't drink." And I was like, well...
What kind of rules are those?
What? Why?
He's right, though. So I was like, what? So water's going to be my podcast fuel? That's very Ben. I don't like that at all. And
Okay.
and so he's making me tea, but I decided that my fever is my podcast fuel.
Whoa.
It's a very low-grade fever.
That's controversial.
Well, we'll see. The quality of the product will tell us.
Wow. Well said.
Or
Okay.
if there's a flippy flappy, we'll want to pause and reassess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know
So,
if there's a flippy flappy.
It got real annoying at the end. I apologize to all of our listeners.
Listen, guys. Sometimes these things happen, and we appreciate you sticking with us.
Thanks for sticking.
Sticking through all of our flippy flappies.
Floppy
Guys,
floppies.
I have some updates for you guys.
Can't wait. What are they, Han?
Okay, first of all, yesterday, I believe, we reached 900 downloads.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a
shit.
fun milestone that I thought I would tell you about on the snack. And today, although who knows if this will last, I don't want to say finally, we reached double digits in Twitter followers.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Double
Not
digits?
double. I'm sorry.
Triple?
Triple digits.
Nice.
Oh.
That's more exciting.
10. Break out the champagne.
And also this weird thing happened where, so I was at work all day today. I took yesterday off for being sicky, but I went in today. And I kept, like, I was really, really busy, so I wasn't able to look at my phone very much. But at one point, I got a notification from Twitter, and I could swear to Jesus that it said that a podcast called Two Broads followed us, like TWO Broads. And I was like, oh my god, that's so fun. We could do, like, a combo episode where it's like way too broads and it'd be so crazy. And I went to look for them later, first on our followers and then on Twitter as a whole, and I could not find them.
Weird.
Maybe you misread the notification. Maybe it was like somebody liked your way too broad tweet or something.
But it was spelled differently, Erin.
Okay, I'm
Erin.
sorry. Maybe you were in a fever dream.
I didn't have a fever. I was taking Dayquil at the time.
Yeah, Ian's gonna listen to this and be like, you were never at work. You've been home. You don't have a podcast.
You're unemployed.
Who are you?
Get out of my house. Yeah. So those are my main updates.
I wasn't gonna mention this, but I actually have a anticlimactic Twitter story as well, that I will share now, since that's what we're doing.
Okay, thanks very much for that assessment of my great story.
I mean, I just call it as I see it. So this guy I follow, because he is a tech dude, was like tweeting with Lin-Manuel Miranda about like this new Jack Swing playlist, and I was like, Lin-Manuel Miranda knows everyone. And so I retweeted that playlist and tagged him, the guy who tweeted it, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I was like, oh, this playlist is so great. And then like immediately the guy who made the playlist like liked my retweet, and then I was like, this is it. This is when Lin-Manuel Miranda likes a tweet of mine. So all day I waited. But he's a busy guy or whatever, so that's my story. It didn't happen.
Why can't it be us that he shines his light upon?
He will. Look, I'm not hating. He's got a lot on his plate. And...
But did you guys see that thing that he did retweet that was that little kid in front of his Christmas tree with like full on Hamilton I was gonna say Christmas costume, but it was probably his Halloween costume.
Christmas costume.
That he put back on. Doing like the entirety of the Guns and Ships song, including the raps.
My gosh.
Like,
no,
I can't do the Lafayette rap, but this child knew every word of it, and he was dancing the whole time.
This
my
fucking
gosh.
kid.
This fucking kid, who does he think he is?
And you're like, why can't Lin-Manuel shine his light upon us? I think because he's shining his light upon that amazing child.
Yeah.
Look, I wasn't mad at it. I was just like, oh, maybe this could happen. And the first thing I thought of was being able to come on to the podcast and tell you guys that Lin-Manuel Miranda liked a tweet of mine, but...
Well, stay tuned for next week. There's still time.
I thought that story had a great climax where you almost got retweeted by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Thank you. That was the climax. It was like almost there, He like had his thumb over the like button, and then like his wife was like, honey, could you take out the trash? And he was like, yo, sup? Yeah. Or something.
Is that your official Lin-Manuel impression? Would you like that on the record?
Yeah. No, that's not my impression. I just imagine him, when your like spouse asks you to do something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you think about like how you love them and how you put them before yourself, and so you do something to psych yourself up. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's kind of how I figure him. He's just like, responds with enthusiasm to mundane house chores.
It's probably
Does
true.
that ring a bell for you, Ben?
Does what ring a bell?
The psyching yourself up to support.
No.
Okay, thank you. Me neither. Erin, you're a really good spouse.
If my wife is like, oh, we roll out the recycling bin in this like 15-degree weather, I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Is it that cold down there?
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
It's unheard of. I'm just I haven't left my house. I'm not kidding. In like 3 days, I've sent my wife out for my groceries.
Was she like, yeah.
She's like gone out voluntarily. This morning she's like, I'm gonna go to work, and I like looked at her like she was crazy. I was like, you can't go out there. It's 15 degrees out there.
Do you know how cold it is right now here?
Yeah, do you want to know?
Do you want to fucking know? It's 6 degrees.
I
It's
know
8
that.
degrees here.
I didn't fucking choose to live in the north. Folks, I live south of the Mason-Dixon line. I expect a certain type of weather condition.
Can we talk a little bit about the
Snow and cold?
Bomb, apocalypse, whatever?
Yeah.
Bomb cyclone?
Yeah, I got like an inch the other day, and it's crazy I haven't been able to leave my house. Oh, is that what y'all were talking about?
About the same, yeah. Well, Ben posted some pictures, and it looks like what you got, Ben, was like a whole ton of like relatively fluffy snow.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yep.
Ben lives about an hour, I guess, north of me, sort of northwest.
Yep.
I live closer to the like the coastline, very close to the coastline on Massachusetts.
I don't know why that tickled me so much.
Well, she had like a snotty like inhale. She's like, Massachusetts. You might have heard of it.
And oh, you meant snotty like fancy, not snotty like filled with snot.
Both.
I did mean snotty fancy, but it was
So
a little bit of both.
Anyway, due to our location further south, we had rain for the first half of the day, and then we had snow, and then everything froze. So what we had was like about a 2 or 3 inch layer of slush that then completely froze.
Oh, yeah.
So this morning,
Yikes.
I had to go to work. I didn't have to be there till 10, fortunately, but they did close the office yesterday when the precipitation was actually happening, but they had 14 inches down there, and they
Holy
still
shit.
opened the next day. So late. So yeah, I broke my ice scraper for my car because I was trying to scrape driveway ice with it.
Do you guys not have a snow shovel?
Yeah, but it didn't fucking do anything.
Real American hero.
Ian had to get a shovel, like a flat-sided shovel, out from behind the house and just manually jackhammer the ice to break it up. And then
my
he had to
God.
get a rake. Even then, the shovel wouldn't help. He had to go get a rake and rake away the ice.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was terrible. But
Jesus Christ.
We got back to Boston the day before it snowed, so we don't have to drive or anything, which is just fantastic.
That's nice. I don't have to drive because I send my wife out.
I love snow.
it's
looking at
fine.
it.
Good. It heard you. Bit new.
Was school closed for you today? Or no, you're not back in school yet.
Yeah. But the campus did close yesterday. They sent an email even though there's not classes right now.
When are you back, Ben?
January 18th.
Wow.
Hey.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Who's back?
You. You are not
Oh!
back. Not you yet. I don't know who. I'm asking you to guess. I don't know.
Do you guys remember those pronunciation book YouTube videos?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The fake ones?
Yes.
Yeah. February.
Synecdoche, the Dodi Chody.
Which one's that?
Synecdoche.
Which one was yours, Hannah?
February.
What was it?
February.
Mine was January.
I know.
Mario.
I think about One Wario in February all the time.
I love how you're you remember that, and we each had a different one to cite.
That's great.
Synecdoche, the Dodi Chody. I forgot about that. Oh, it's very
Every
good.
time I use one of those pronunciation videos, I'm really wary. I'll verify with another just because I'm I don't know if this is real or not.
Yeah, they did a good job. Oh man, we'll post a link up to one of those because I think I want to leave this in. So,
Oh yeah.
or maybe all 3 of them. We'll just post a video to each one that we said. And that'll be good.
That sounds good.
Oh, Erin, so I already spoiled the drink report for myself, but Erin, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking a Negra Modelo,
Yeah.
and it's delicious, but I'm almost through it, and I wish I had brought another one
What's that percentage? What's that ABV?
Oh, gosh. Low. Let's see. It says here, basically seltzer. No, it's at a 5.4. That's actually higher than I thought.
That's not that
That's
bad.
not bad. I thought it was a 4.
Erin,
you want to know what
Ben
I'm
and I
drinking?
had water.
And something else this time.
Ooh.
With a lemon in it.
No.
Oh, wait, is it tonic water?
No.
Okay, what is it?
It's gin and ginger ale.
Wow, somebody's on vacation. You, Ben. Way to go, Ben.
I noticed, I went to get water from the fridge and I noticed that we have like half a bottle of gin up there on top of the fridge. So I was like, I want some with gin in it. And then the only mixer we had was ginger ale. So that's what I'm having.
That's great.
That's a good drink.
It is good.
I
I'm
also thought that you were just saying, like, I opened the fridge and I noticed we had some gin up in there.
Wait, I had another thing.
You were about to ask me a question. And then Ben was like, same question.
Oh, no.
Well, I had finished saying I expected my Negro Modelo to be at 4.
Oh, I know. What, no. Erin, would
What?
you like to hear about a special drink that Ben and I had over the New Year's?
Chrism.
Yes, I would love to hear about a special drink you and Ben had over the New Year's.
The
Ben,
holidays.
Don't make me wait 1 second longer to hear.
Oh, wait! We haven't recorded
Since what?
since New Year's has happened. We should talk about what we
Happy
did
New
for
Year's.
New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. I have got to hear about that fucking drink, though. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's all interlinked, Erin.
Okay, cool.
Okay. We had some homemade, not by us, homemade apple pie moonshine.
Oh, who made it?
Somebody from my office brought it around.
Wow.
Apparently, he does it every year. He brought around mason jars full of moonshine
Wow.
that he had made himself at home. And not only did he bring around mason jars of it, but he like ran out. He didn't bring enough up, so he came up with like 2 apple juice jugs full of it and filled up the mason jars right in front of us to bring home.
Wow.
Yes, like very homemade. But it was delicious.
It was
And
yummy.
at one point when I first went and got it from like I kind of like brought it on Christmas Day, but we didn't drink it till New Year's. And I went upstairs to get it, and Ben didn't happen to be there when like I was introducing the concept of the moonshine. And so then he came upstairs, and we were like, "Hey Ben, smell this! Doesn't it smell good? Because it smells like apple pie." And he was like, "Oh yeah, this smells great," and like took a sip of it. And we were like, "Ben, that's really strong. Like that's all of the moonshine we have. That's for everybody." But it was just in a regular mason jar, so we thought it was his.
I thought he was just handing me my drink.
Did you take like a big glug of it?
I took a pretty big sip, yeah.
Yeah. And then we all had to drink moonshine with Ben's spit in it.
Friggin' heck, Ben.
It's fine.
Heck.
My spit's
Ben,
great.
did it... Ben, did you, he actually gave jars of it to his coworkers for Christmas. Ben, did it go
Homemade
down
spit.
easy?
Yeah, I kind of questioned the terminology of moonshine for this, because it felt like it was very sweet and it didn't feel that strong. So I kind of feel like it was like a big homemade cocktail almost.
I think that's how moonshine do, though.
Really?
It had 151 in it, Ben. It was strong.
It didn't
Moonshine
feel
is like,
strong.
yeah, that's moonshine for you, though.
Yeah, that's the idea of moonshine.
That's my experience with it. Is it's real sweet and tastes real good.
Oh, okay.
But it like,
Yeah, we
Well,
didn't.
it was yummy.
unless you didn't feel anything.
Well, here's the thing. We broke out some sparkling cider, and we put the moonshine into it, and that was what we were all
Okay.
drinking. But so like we were pouring like probably less than a shot's worth of it in every like glass that we made, because there wasn't a ton of it. So I just don't think any of us drank enough to really
Yeah, that's
feel
probably
it.
it.
But it was really delicious. And what we also did on New Year's Eve was we didn't watch any ball drop or anything. We just played straight up tabletop games, like all the way from dinner till like 2 a.m. actually.
And before
That sounds
dinner
awesome.
also.
Yeah, true.
Just the fam.
Yeah,
Freaking heck, that sounds fun AF.
Yeah, it's great.
it was super fun.
We had people over and had dinner. I made bread and I had smoked a pork shoulder that whole day. And we were all in our pajamas, and then we had dinner and then played Cards Against Humanity until the ball drop, and then a little whiles after. And I was like very hungover the next day. So I apparently also drank a lot. So I love champagne.
It's so
and
good.
I love sparkling wine, and we'll just drink it so fast, and it just does a number on me. I just love it. I just drink a whole cup and be like, where'd my wine go?
It is so good.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, girl.
Well, it sounded like you were having fun because you made a recording for us.
Oh yeah, I did for So Dreamy.
For So Dreamy, you made a recording.
Do you think you
for
guys
us.
can use it?
Definitely.
Awesome, cool.
We're not recording again for a couple, not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. Because we recorded 2 last week. That's a fun thing we're trying.
Wow.
Oh, cool. I actually haven't listened to the 3rd episode. I heard it's really good, though.
The 3rd episode
Molly
is my
said
favorite.
Molly said it's great.
Oh, I'm glad. Oh, Molly, you're such a supporter of my work.
She's a great podcast listener. She just listens so loyally and faithfully.
That's wonderful.
And excitedly.
What a wonderful woman.
What a lady.
In person.
What a woman, what a woman, what a woman, what a woman.
Okay, let's see who's first. Does anybody else have any other upfront stuff they want to talk about?
Fuck no.
Don't talk about my upfront stuff, Hannah. It's private.
Ben is first. I know, Ben, you were struggling between 2 topics, but Erin and I gave you some sage advice. Did it help you?
No.
Our sage advice was just pick the best one, dummy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still kind of torn, to be honest. I was just gonna let it. I was just gonna not decide and just do the one that came to me when it got to the time, which is right now, and I'm
This
still
is
kind
the
of.
time.
I know, and
We
I
are
gotta
the
pick
people.
right now. All right, I'm gonna do Lord of the Rings.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
Should I?
Can you tell us what the other
Yeah,
one
I can
was?
tease it because I'm probably gonna talk about it next week. So unless you want me to save it for next week, I could tease it for now.
Tease it. Give
It's-
us a clue, Ben. None of us have ever known a week ahead of time what our topic was going to be. Just give us
It's true.
a tasty little clue.
Okay, it's a very famous science fiction series. Book
Okay,
series.
Lord of the Rings. Cool.
Lord of the Rings is not science fiction.
Oh, okay, nerd.
Is it not?
No, it's
No,
fantasy.
it's fantasy.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know your life. I don't know your book labels. I'm sorry, cut that out.
Are you- Quit telling me what to do.
All right, cool.
So
Are you talking about the books or the movies or both?
the movies?
All right.
Neat.
Because as we mentioned, we've all been snowed in. Some of us more than others.
Snooty.
Erin.
I don't appreciate that, but I have not been able to leave my home. Don't belittle my snow experience.
Actually,
Erin.
honestly, the roads might be worse there because you guys so rarely get snow.
Can I just drop
Yeah.
another little nugget of northern living for Erin right now?
Yeah.
It's not going to get above freezing again until Monday here.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's all I had to say. You
Yeah,
can
it's no
continue,
staying
Ben.
around.
That's right. I'm not doubting that your experience is worse than mine. I'm just saying, like,
Listen,
I
we
chose
had a lot of
She's
snow,
saying,
Erin.
live
she's
in the
saying we
South.
made a mistake by being born to a man who decided he had to move up north for work.
Did he make you stay there now that you're like a person with a job?
Wait, this is revolutionary. Are you saying life starts at when you move out of your parents' house? An embryo until then.
Damn.
All right,
Anyway.
well, that's fair, though.
We've
So-
all been snowed in, some worse than others. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah.
You've been snowed in way worse than me, I guess.
So yesterday, while we were snowed in, Kylie and I decided to watch the first Lord of the Rings movie because we both love them so much, and we have the extended ones on Blu-ray. So like each one's
Nice.
like 4 hours of just
Shit.
pure fantasy wonderfulness.
Did you have some good snacks?
Yeah, I had a nice big bag of potato chips from Trader Joe's,
Nice.
some sea
nice.
salt and cracked pepper,
Nice.
my
Nice.
jam. Yeah, we tried to rewatch those movies every year, though we didn't watch them at all in 2017, to my recollection, because they're just so rewatchable to me, and so like I feel like I'm surprised every time by how every single, like, there's not a single bad performance in those movies. I feel like every actor in that is like really at the top of their game for the entire series. In particular, like Viggo Mortensen and Ian McKellen especially are like out of this world. And Viggo Mortensen is just one of the coolest. He plays Aragorn, just for people that somehow don't know that.
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, for real. He's like just a very he like did all his stunts and stuff. And when they were training for sword fighting for that movie, they had this guy named Bob Anderson who's like trained, who was an Olympic fencer, and he trained Hollywood sword fighting for movies back to like Highlander and like Star Wars and a bunch of other, like basically every movie really famous movie that has sword fighting in it has had Bob Anderson training the actors. And he said that Viggo Mortensen was the best sword fighter he's ever trained in his life.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's this scene in the Fellowship of the Ring where an orc throws a dagger at Aragorn, and he slaps it out of the air with his sword, like while he's on the ground. And it turns out, if you listen to like I haven't listened to the commentary, but I've heard this before, that that wasn't scripted. That was just on reaction. Viggo Mortensen slashed it out of the air.
Holy shit.
And they left it in the movie because it's like a super badass moment.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I could talk forever about these movies. Like I've never watched any movie that's 4 hours long and yet doesn't feel at any point to me like it's dragging on. I imagine some people don't feel the same way about Lord of the Rings, but for me, it's like it's still very fast paced. It's just that it's such a big story and so much happens that they can fill up 4 hours. Like the original theatrical releases were like 3 hours, and while I'm watching these, I have trouble seeing where they cut the hour from. It's because like every moment seems so important to me, you know? And then let alone that's 4 hours filling that up. They fill up 12 hours of movie with just amazing footage, and the shots of New Zealand, the New Zealand countryside and mountains where they filmed it all is like fucking beautiful. Like even just those little breaks where like you see them running, like see Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli running across the countryside. It's like those helicopter shots are so just awe-inspiring, in addition to the amazing acting and the special effects. That movie was made almost 20 years ago.
Wow,
when
really?
these movies were made. Yeah. Like they started in 1999 making them, and the first one came out in 2001. And the special effects hold up incredibly well. The costumes and makeup on the orcs and Uruk-hai are unreal, and Gollum still looks good. There are some moments that are a little cheesy with like people's faces kind of fading in and out, but like most of the time it's incredible for a 20-year-old movie how well everything in that holds up. And all the battle scenes, all the special effects in those, and all the fighting is like, it's so good. I love it so much.
Dang.
That revelation is
impressive.
really giving me a struggle.
That it's 20 years
20
old.
years?
Almost, yeah.
I'm really having a struggle with that.
Do you guys like Lord of the Rings? I remember Erin mentioned she didn't before.
Last week,
Well,
I
it's
think.
not that I don't. I know I saw the first one and I liked it. That's something I would like totally rewatch. sometimes. I think I have to be in the right mood, just because I didn't say I didn't like them. I said I find them exhausting, which is true. But I don't.
But I love exhausting things.
I think, well, sometimes, like, there's movies that you watch that you don't enjoy, like heavy dramas about, like, abuse that are really beautiful and well done. Like, you watch those, you have to be in the right mood for them, and you are glad you saw them because they're works of art. It's not as bad as that. But yeah, I think I just have to be in the right mood. It makes me want to rewatch them again, and I feel like there's one of them I haven't seen, but it's, been 20 years, so.
Oh my god. I don't think I've ever, sat down. I've seen all of them. I don't think I've ever, sat down to watch one and not enjoyed myself, but it's not like... So I actually remember when you first got those extended cuts or whatever, and I remember for, what felt like a week or two straight, coming home and, without fail, you and Kylie were on the couch watching Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you watched them twice over or if you...
No, we didn't.
Just takes so long to get through them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's 12 hours a movie, I guess. And then maybe did you also get,
It's 4 hours a movie.
You just...
Each.
No, 12 hours of movie.
Oh, I thought you said a movie.
Did you also get The Hobbit? Was that maybe something else?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't like those movies that much.
But I, when I stumble upon it without intending to watch it, I don't usually stick with it. It's like there are a lot of movies that I'll be like, oh, this is on, I love this, and that's not one of them in that way. But it's not that I don't like them. It's just like I either need to be 100% invested from the start, or I need to watch something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You need to be in the right mood.
Yeah,
I
totally.
think.
I guess that's the shorter way of saying it. Is what you said.
Yeah. and I get, because as much as I love these movies, it's my favorite movie series ever. But even I can't watch them all straight through, 12 hours straight. We just finished the second movie today, and we're gonna watch the third one tomorrow. So we're doing it one day at a time, which is nice. And actually, in the extended version, it's on 2 discs, and so we have an intermission between the 2 hour sections of the movie where we
nice.
Get them and get snacks. It's super nice.
That makes me really want to do a movie marathon. I haven't done one in a while.
Yeah, neither have we. And this has been a really, if I recommend Lord of the Rings very highly for a movie marathon. It's very, very nice. Very nice.
I think I saw the whole Harry Potter series are on HBO.
Oh yeah,
Go or right now. That might be a good one too. Just because they're free and available. So.
Yeah, that would be fun too. I would really like to read those books again, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
probably gonna reread the Lord of the Rings books after I finish the third movie, because I haven't read them in a long time, even though I've seen the movies a lot. But then I know the books are very, very good also.
I haven't ever read them.
Really?
Yeah, not a one.
I read them when I was younger.
I feel like a lot of fantasy adventure books are especially heavy on the walking everywhere, and all that time spent walking and talking and stuff that you were talking about last week, Erin.
Right.
And Lord of the Rings, I know, especially gets that kind of rap, but it's not just them.
Can I interject, a family inside joke real fast here?
Okay.
This is one for my immediate family. We were driving with my dad one day. It was the whole family in the car, and he was describing to us how he recently walked to work. And so we get out onto the main road, and there's this paved path kind of beside the main road. And he's like, this is the trail I take. And he's like... And we're walking, and we're walking, and we're walking. As we're driving, he's trying to, this is the path, and we're walking, and he does this for a really long time, and then he's like, and then you turn there. So that's what we say, all the time. And that just popped into my head when we were and we're walking. That's Lord of the Rings to me. We're walking, and I'm like, I know.
We get
it. We say that all the time.
Do you say it when you're walking or when you're driving?
whenever you mention a story where you're walking and you're walking and we're walking, and sometimes it's it really depends. I think it's morphed into whenever we're telling a story about that gets repetitive.
That's really good.
The end.
Good one.
Sorry, back to Lord of the Rings.
Well, Ben,
back.
Yeah.
What to steal a question from Erin from a previous
Same question.
episode.
Same question.
What keeps you coming back, Ben, besides the acting? Because you already talked about that.
Oh.
Good cue.
Thank you.
Well, there's this monologue at the end of the second movie that Sam gives, and it's like right as the Ents are taking Isengard back from Saruman, or not back, they're taking it and destroying all the orcs there, and then it's also while the riders of Rohan are arriving at Helm's Deep, and it's like this super heartening thing about how basically he's like convincing Frodo to continue on this quest to Mount Doom because there's something worth fighting for in this world. And I think that's a really, as dark as those movies can be, it's overall a very uplifting message, and I think it's very well done, and I don't know, it's ultimately just like about perseverance and I was going to say perseveration. That's why I paused.
Perseveration.
Perseveration.
Oh man, I love movies with strong perseveration themes.
I don't know, it's just a very uplifting message and speaks to me.
Yeah, it's
and
like...
I love the character of Samwise Gamgee more than any character.
Samwise dad bod.
Yeah, Samwise dad bod.
It's like when you're going through hell, keep going,
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, what?
If you're holding on, keep holding on,
It's like hanging there with the little kitty on the poster.
Honestly, I should stop watching Lord of the Rings and just look at that poster.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It would save you a lot of time.
Like Kylie walks in, he's just sitting on the couch staring at a poster.
For 12 hours.
What are you doing, Ben? Watching Lord of the Rings.
It's basically a substitute.
Yeah. What are you doing, Ben? Basically watching Lord of the Rings.
Essentially.
That's... Oh, you
Actually,
know what?
Can I say one more thing about what keeps me coming back first?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, yes. I meant yes.
Kumail Nanjiani, who's a very
Kumail
funny actor
Nanjiani.
comedian. Yeah. He also does a yearly rewatch of Lord of the Rings, and he just recently tweeted this big long thread about it and why he does it, and he's much more well spoken than I, and he puts into words very well my thoughts on the movies. So I would recommend looking at that.
I thought you were going to say he was in it, and I was
He's
not.
Like, Brett McKenzie's in it from Flight of the Conchords.
Love that guy.
Oh.
When? He's an elf in, I believe, the first and the second movie. And in one of them
I
he has
I can picture that.
In one of them he speaks also.
Yeah, he gets a speaking part in one of them. Do you know about his cult of fandom that rose up from that role, Ben?
I do not.
So he doesn't have a name in the movie because I think you're right. He either appeared in 2 or 3 of them, and in the first one he appeared in, he was just basically an extra, an elf extra, because he's from New Zealand, Yeah. He was in the scene where they're all like, "You have my sword and my axe," and
yeah,
and I'm an elf.
Classic.
And
my bow is what he said, but
yeah. That's what I
Roll
said.
Call.
So, they dubbed him Figwit, which stood for Frodo is Grey. Who is that? That was what it stood for. Because apparently, it pans across all of them, and then you see him, and a lot of people thought he was really cute. So I think the reason they gave him a speaking part later, he only had 1 line, but I think it was because of this little fandom that had grown up. This tiny little fandom.
I think that's so interesting how our reactions to art can influence it in the future. Like, I think about that with, I don't know why I was thinking about it with Stranger Things. Oh, I was thinking about how everyone hated that one episode of Stranger Things season 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, our outrage and our outcry from hating that episode is likely going to influence season 3, right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that interesting?
Well, I don't know.
The end of sentence.
I feel like for me, the main part of what was so frustrating about that episode was that it didn't connect to anything else. So like if that group of annoying punks like had a compelling storyline, like I wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah, everyone hated it. It was justified. It was dumb.
Oh, yeah.
And they should never, ever do it again. And I think they're not gonna, is the thing.
Well, but I don't know. But, like, they've committed to that 8 girl now. Like,
Yeah.
I think they can drop it. I think
Really?
they can drop it. Yeah, I really do.
feel like
If they're
people-
listening,
I think...
they do live in Durham, so they're probably subscribers.
I think they'll have people mad at them if they drop that. I think they'll also feel mad at them if they don't. So
Yeah,
they're
you're
kind of
right.
fucked either way.
Everybody's just always so
Yeah.
mad at everybody. That's what Lord of the Rings is about.
So true.
We're gonna break down every Lord of the Rings theme for you guys here tonight.
You got perseveration.
You got everybody's always so mad at everybody. What else?
Figwit.
Figwit,
That's a theme.
cool hair, and we're walking. That's another
We're
one.
walking. And we're walking.
Talking trees.
God.
Love talking trees.
We're eating. And we're eating. That was the Hobbit part.
Second
and
breakfast.
We're walking.
Second breakfast. That's the theme.
Second breakfast. 11sies.
11
Lunch. Afternoon tea. Dinner. Supper.
Oh my god, I am like actually a Hobbit though.
We're a family of hobbits, I would say.
And do you guys know? Here's a segment called "Jokes That Never Land." Do you have these jokes that you just tell and they never land, but you love them so much that you just keep hoping to find the right audience?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I have one.
Mine is. Oh, I'm so glad. Nothing makes me happier. Mine is. I'll leave a place. So like, say I like say goodbye to somebody and walk out the door. Then I'm outside and I realize I've forgotten something. I'll turn back around, go inside, and the only thing I'll say to that person is, "There and back again, a Hobbit's tale." Which I think is so funny because I'm a short person. Thank you. And I'll be like, say it in an exasperated tone. "There and back again, a Hobbit's tale." Yeah, I found my audience.
Yours is way better than mine.
Oh no! I'm so glad.
That's so funny.
Nobody ever laughs at that. But I keep saying it because I know in my heart it's funny.
It's
I don't
hilarious.
need your approval. I'm happy for your approval. But like, I don't need the world's approval.
Yeah.
I march to the beat of my own joke. What's yours, Hannah?
Okay, you guys have probably heard this already. But so a couple of years ago, my parents took a cruise or something, and they went to Naples as one of the places, like in Italy. Do you remember
Yeah, it
that,
was a
Ben?
cruise. Yep. They did a Mediterranean cruise.
Yeah, that's right. And every time that they ever mention Naples again for the rest of history of my life, I go, nipples? And now it's extended to every time I hear the word Naples in any context, even if it's kind of inappropriate. And but the thing is, like, it's fine because people never like understand what I'm doing outside of my family, so they just like don't.
I always make a nipple joke whenever I hear the word Naples. I'm like, oh, you gotta milk your time in Naples. I gotta keep abreast of the Naples
You
news.
do puns, and I'm just like, nipples? Every time.
It's hard to get out of Naples. I don't know.
That's an interesting
I'm on
one.
here. I have an announcement.
What is
My beautiful wife has just brought me another beer.
Aw,
Shout out to Molly.
Oh my
shout out to
God.
Molly.
Look at this.
Look.
Oh, okay.
With
Henry's
a lime
here.
in it.
Goodbye.
Oh, she brought you a lime in it?
A lime? Yeah, she brought me a lime in it.
What a wonderful
She's officially
woman.
she's the greatest woman. I've been snowed in, you see. Thanks, your
Tell her
boo.
say hi.
Yeah. Hi, everyone says hi.
I didn't say hi.
Oh, Ben
But I
didn't
do
say
say,
hi.
no, I
Just,
say hi, I say hi. I say
just
hi.
Hannah said hi. Only Hannah, not Ben.
Tell her I said hi too.
She's gone already.
Ben says hi too. Is that like hi C?
That's Hi 2, the sequel. Okay. Well, that was great, Ben.
Good,
I
Ben.
really enjoyed our time talking about the themes in The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
But did you?
Yeah, for real.
Wait, then tell me what.
I enjoyed talking about the themes of Speed
The
2.
best part about that is the only thing that I've said about The Hobbit this whole time is that I don't really like those movies that much.
I really enjoyed talking about the themes of Crossroads, the Britney Spears movie.
True laugh, true tears.
Why didn't you like The Hobbit real quick?
Because it's okay. Mainly because they stretched into a trilogy. And like The Hobbit is a kid's book and Lord of the Rings is not.
Kids
And
book
Lord of the
for
Rings
babies.
It's a man's book.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, The Hobbit is a much less complex story. It's like one story. The Lord of the Rings is there's this Fellowship of the Ring, the 9 people, and then they get split up into like 3 different groups that are all doing these different things that are all really important. And it's actually 3 books that they made into 3 long movies, whereas The Hobbit is one much simpler book that they then stretched into 3 different movies that did not, like, they could have made it one movie and it would have been fine. I liked the first movie, okay, but then, like, the second was and the third was just, like, you're just making shit up and having Legolas jump on rocks randomly like a superhero. Like, Legolas isn't in The Hobbit.
Huh?
Legolas isn't even in The Hobbit, the book. That he was in the movies,
yeah.
you know, it was
He's an elf.
Yeah.
true.
Good contribution, Hannah.
A woodland elf.
He's Orlando Bloom.
He was also in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah. Alongside Keira Knightley, who we talked about last week. Last week?
We did?
Week before?
No.
Week before.
I don't
When did we
remember
talk
ever
about her?
talking about Keira Knightley.
We
I'm
talked
glad I'm not
Oh,
alone.
because of
Actually.
Love Actually.
Oh, okay, alright.
Sorry
All right.
for my brain. Okay.
Well, let's move on from our discussions of Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
and the themes therein.
Yep. All right. I'm next. So that'll be fun for everybody.
What you got?
Okay. So I told you guys it was a unique one this time. I'm not sure that we've ever done this before, but I want to talk about another podcast that I've been listening to and really enjoying.
Groundbreaking.
How about
I
our
think your
first episode?
Yeah, how about our
That
first
wasn't
episode? It was exactly what I was
about
about to say.
a podcast. That was about a family of podcasters.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, okay. You're getting by on a technicality, but go ahead.
But you'll
Allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. So I actually, and it kind of has some themes to do with yours, Ben. It's called Dames and Dragons.
Okay.
It's
okay.
a 5th edition real play Dungeons and Dragons podcast that's with an all-female cast.
Oh, fun.
It's so great. So they're based, and actually I just learned today because I went and like looked at their Twitter and their website and stuff for research because I'm a professional. Not really. Not by like the strict
Oh,
definition
really?
of a professional because we don't make money at this, so not at all.
Is that a strict definition?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, outnumbered there.
So I listen to a handful of D&D podcasts obviously the Adventure Zone's one of them. There's another one called Drunks and Dragons that's really good. There's one that I recently listened to called They See Me Rollin', which was very fun. But one thing that is always kind of frustrating, and it's actually not even just in podcasts about D&D, it's also like in D&D in general, is that like the gender mix tends to be pretty off. Like there tend to be like it's all guys, or it's like all guys and one woman. Drunks and Dragons has 2, so it's like 3 guys and 2 women. This one is 4 women. They've known each other for a really long time. They're like old friends. And so they like have a really great dynamic with each other. Their DM is excellent. She's like a really good like world weaver. She created like all this brand new like mythology, like a whole new like gods and like pantheons of like creation and being for these people to like act out their stuff in.
That's crazy.
And she's really good at like at like explaining them to the point that not just the players but also the listeners understand. Also, the 3 girls that play, they are almost indistinguishable to me when they're just talking in their normal voices. They have very similar voices, but they all do really excellent and different character voices for their 3 characters.
Oh.
So it's really, really easy to like get to know the characters. You don't have to like be like fumbling around like, oh, who is that talking, or like trying to figure out like their personalities. Like they're very free in the way that they play their characters, and they're very good at like really conveying the personalities of the people that they're trying to be. So I really enjoy that. They're based in Minneapolis. That's what I was about to say before. They're from the Minneapolis area. So that'll be interesting to our cousins out that way. Jesse's there right now.
Shout out to Jesse.
Yep. And also to me, because that's where we had our honeymoon. I like the people out there.
Did you just give a shout out to yourself?
No.
Yeah, you did. I said shout out to Justin. You were like, also to me.
I didn't mean to. I was just saying it's also interesting to me.
I just accidentally give shout outs to myself like all the time. It's so embarrassing.
I was just saying it's also interesting to me because I have now a connection to Minneapolis. Shout outs to me.
Because I had my honeymoon there.
And anyway, there. What else do I like about it? Oh, a couple of other things.
We don't know your life.
So to continue talking about characters, there are the main like characters. The people that, the player characters, 2 of them are female, and the third one is a male. So obviously it's a girl playing it, but her character is male. And his name's Corbin, and he can like change between he's a druid, so he can turn into any animal like at will, but he was raised by like ravens, so he always turns into a raven. And even though he's a human, he tells people he's a bird, and like it's and he is like that's all kind of immaterial. My point was that he is a total airhead, and he's like the only one. The other ones are like really smart and sassy and like cool and different in their own ways, and he is too. Like he's got shit going on. Like he's not an idiot, but he's just kind of like ditzy. And also he's the only one who wears like skimpy clothing, and that makes me laugh. like they're always talking about his boob window in his outfit, which is just great.
That's great.
And finally, in terms of things
in conclusion,
another thing that I really like about them, and I think they actually do it better than any other D&D podcast I've ever listened to. Like, I feel like the barrier to entry for listening to a D&D podcast is, once it gets a little bit farther along in episodes, which this one is, they're on their second arc. They do arcs kind of like the Adventure Zone does, and like seasons kind of, and it can be really overwhelming to try to like either start from the beginning and listen to all of those episodes, or to like find a place to jump in where you don't feel lost. And myself as like a completionist, if if I'm listening to a show like that, like a narrative show, and there are a lot of things I feel like I'm not understanding the context for, that's really frustrating to me as a listener. So like a lot of podcasts, Adventure Zone included, they address that by having like previouslys at the beginning of most of their episodes. But you can only fit so much into that before you're cutting into the time of the actual show. What they do, which I think is brilliant and which like completely worked for me, is at the end of every arc, they do like a 20-minute recap of everything that happened in the show. And they do it where basically, at least the first one, because they haven't finished the second arc yet, but in the first arc, they did it like it was an interview show, like a TV or a radio show. And so the DM was playing as if she was like a TV interviewer, and she was actually interviewing the characters that these people play. So not only did you hear like the broad strokes of what happened during that story arc, but you also like got a chance to get to know the characters and like find out some stuff about them and about like how they like interact and get along with each other and stuff. And so it was like, it was only 20 minutes long. So what I did was I listened to the first episode of the show ever. Then I listened to the recap of the first arc. Then I started going on the second arc, and I've been listening from there. And I feel like I've missed almost nothing. And like I totally
That's
get
such
it.
a cool idea.
It's great. It worked so well, and their sound quality is excellent too, for whatever's that worth.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
if you get all producery.
Shout out to Hannah for using the word completionist. That's really cool. Before you can shout out yourself, I just wanted to squeeze that in. Also,
shout out to me.
Yeah. She did it anyway. She's unstoppable.
So that's pretty much all I had to say about it. But I would just say to you guys and to anybody who's ever enjoyed a D&D podcast or even been frustrated by one, or especially if you've been frustrated by the lack of women on them.
Loved one, or if you've hated one.
Just listen to it. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? It's not going to blow out your brain.
Yeah, it's really not. It truly isn't.
It's not going to make your head explode.
I'm not surprised that a podcast is your obsession this week, because you have a longer commute now. So it really only makes sense.
Yeah, I do. As Ben learned when we drove back up from your house at Thanksgiving, Erin, I don't have a threshold for how many
Her
hours
podcast stamina is
of podcasting.
Insane.
Yeah,
that's good.
We had listened to like 10 hours straight, and she was like, "Another podcast." We were like, "Can we have some music, please?"
Can we not? Do you, as you're building your podcast empire, and now you have 2 podcasts that you're actively contributing to, and one that you're running, are you?
It's more of a.
Do you see
yourself? It's more of an estate right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's soon to be a duchy. Hashtag Dominion reference. Do you foresee yourself having a threshold for podcast creation? Are you still really enjoying all the makings that you're doing?
I'm certainly learning my limits in terms of just like the number of hours in a day and a week. That's especially now with my longer commute. Like it's challenging. Like I think I said this even in our first few episodes when I talked about like wanting to help people make podcasts. I don't know where I would find the time to take on editing another podcast, but in terms of like contributing and being like a resource for people, I have not found a limit on a threshold on that. I still really enjoy that, but like I think the thing that can be the time consuming part is being like the driving force, not just not even just of editing, but of like motivation. Like,
right.
I actually don't think that you guys, I don't have to like drag you guys to the table for anything. I don't think Rachel has to drag me to the table for anything. But if I was doing another podcast where it was just me, or where I had somebody else there who was only like halfway invested, I think that I would feel overwhelmed, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But,
cool.
But yeah, I'm still like way on board for being like at the top of some
building
kind of podcasting
empire.
pyramid. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'm still thinking about that queer.
Oh yeah, that's
snack.
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I think I might have a potential interested co-host.
Awesome.
So.
And you know stuff about editing already. Cool beans.
Cool.
Great segment, Hannah.
Thank
Great
you.
segment, Hannah.
Check out Dames and Dragons.
What?
Are you ready, Erin?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm also torn between two. I think I'm leaning more towards one, but since Ben did, I'll present my two options. One is another food book. Since I did that last week, I'll do it. It's a television show is my second one. So I'll go with that, unless anybody's really interested to hear about my food book.
I think it's good to switch it up.
I'm tired of hearing about food books.
And it's a bread book, so don't even...
Unless you're going to ship me bread. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm really not. You can come down and get some. So, well, hopefully I'll see you in March anyway.
March.
So, Molly and I started a new series this week. We're watching I think there's only 7, I don't know if you can call it a series or a miniseries, 7-episode miniseries on Netflix called Godless. Have you guys
I've not heard of that.
read about it or heard of it? You heard about it, Ben?
No, I have not heard of it.
I've seen it up on Netflix, but I haven't watched it. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's I heard about it because I had a very confusing evening on the radio.
What?
And I was listening to Fresh Air with Terry Gross. Well, I was having a confusing evening on the radio. Let me tell you why. It was like a Sunday night.
You keep saying that phrase.
I want to know what that even means.
I know. You'll get there. Well, let's journey there together.
And we're
And
walking.
we're walking. So I'm driving home one night. It's a Sunday night. And I have my presets on my radio. My phone is broken. I can't plug it in anymore, so I'm 100% radio in the car. Radio or silence are my options. So it's healthy. So I tune into NPR, and there's like some weird music on there. It's like, normally there's a program called Back Porch Music that plays on my local NPR station. That's like bluegrass and folk on the weekend nights. And I always really enjoy it. And this was not it. It certainly wasn't. I didn't know what it was, but it was some weird shit. And like a man kind of yodeling in pain.
All right.
And so I was like, I'll listen to jazz. I have another one at a local college plays a jazz station. And so I hit that preset button, and it's NPR. It's like Fresh Air with Terry Gross. And I was like, what? Maybe I pressed the wrong button. So I pressed my NPR button, and it's the weird yodeling. And I pressed my jazz button, and it's NPR. And I had this moment where I'm driving, and I'm like, my radio's broken in my car. But it just turns out that there was a different music program called Thistle and Shamrock on my local NPR station, and that my jazz station sometimes also plays NPR News and Fresh Air with Terry Gross weekend.
Wow.
So, but I was like, going through my head, I was like, can your car antenna like pick up the wrong station? Like, I thought my car was broken. It was
Like,
a confusing night on the radio.
you're like, my car's been totaled.
I'd like to return this vehicle, please. But anyway, Terry Gross was talking about, to the writer and director and creator of Godless. And the premise is interesting. It's about a little town in New Mexico called La Belle. And almost all the men, except just a handful, died on the same day in a mining accident.
Huh.
So the town, you kind of get introduced to this town 2 years later, and it's a town of women. It's all women. And did y'all ever watch Nurse Jackie?
Yeah, a little bit.
No.
Hannah, do you know that nurse who worked with Nurse Jackie, who was like the best character on the show? Like that other nurse who was like really like wonderful and...
Maybe not. Maybe it's been a long time.
Oh, man. Anyway, Molly and I used to watch Nurse Jackie and loved it, and we loved this one particular character. I don't even know the actress's name. She was such a magnificent actress and character, and she's in the show and is a total badass.
Do you know what her
and so it's about like
you just said you didn't, huh?
I didn't. Let me look it up.
Is it Zoe?
Zoe, yeah, that actress. She's been in other things too. Get her name, Merritt Wever.
Yeah, okay.
She's so great. Oh, she was in Science too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love her.
Yeah, she's so great. And so in this show, she plays like she wears pants, which is very controversial. And maybe this is just me, and Molly said she felt the same way. I was like, oh, didn't she just want her character to just be gay in Nurse Jackie? And she like is in the show. I don't know actually how she identifies. It's 1880, it's the 1880s or whatever, but I'm not going to assume how she identifies in this show, but she's definitely like with another woman in the show. But it's interesting. It's a good show. I'm totally hooked. One small complaint I might have is that as it was being described to me on Rush Air, it sounded like it was going to be like a Western full of women, and just like a Western like you're used to, except 100% women characters. And the first episode was like mostly had dudes in it, which is fine. It's just remarkable that it can be, the premise is a town with no men, full of women, and these women have to are strong and independent and caring for themselves. Yet the first episode is comprised almost entirely of men. Was a little frustrating. It gets a little better, but it's a really interesting show. If you're into Westerns, it's like in any Netflix show. It's like you're like, let's just watch one, and then the episode ends, and you're like, one more.
We were just talking about that today.
Have you seen that Portlandia episode?
Yeah.
Where they watch Battlestar Galactica and they're like, just one more, and then they ruin their lives and lose their jobs and lose their house because they're just watching it.
That's a fucking good series, though.
Yeah, I need to watch that with Kylie.
I love that series because in that episode they try to look up the creator and just find a random dude who happens to have the same name, but then that dude is in the series for the rest of the show.
Oh, I was talking about Battlestar though. Have you seen it?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Portlandia. No, I haven't seen Battlestar.
It's so good, Erin.
I'm sorry.
Portlandia is also good, but
yeah, I guess. Anyway, that's mine. Godless.
Godless.
Why is it called Godless?
Because men are gods.
The main... I don't know quite why yet. The main villain, played by... Gosh, somebody you would never guess. Guess. Jeff Daniels. Played by Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
Huh.
I gotta get a visual.
Of Dumb and Dumber.
That doesn't seem
Dumb and Dumber.
Doesn't seem like a Western.
The blonde one?
Person.
Yeah, no. The blonde one in Dumb and Dumber. That's exactly what I thought. Oh, you know who else is in it? Did you guys watch Downton Abbey?
Yeah.
No.
Lady Mary is in it.
Lady Mary, is she the old one?
No, she's the prime daughter.
Oh, I like her.
The prime daughter.
The prime daughter.
She's the bitchy one. That's how I think of her.
The bitchy one, yeah, sure.
I like her.
Yeah. She's bitchy, I like her.
Yeah.
What was the original question? Oh, Godless. Well, the main villain, I don't know quite why yet. He's on about, towns being godless and people being godless.
Okay.
That's probably why.
He is real fucked up. He's real fucked up.
Have you ever seen the movie The Squid and the Whale?
Yes.
No.
I think.
It's all I can think about when I think of Jeff Daniels now, because in it he plays this, I think he's a professor or something, and he's having an affair with one of his students, and there's this, and also his son is in love with that student. That's one of the main plot points. And there's this awful, disgusting scene when he's in a room with her making out, and he's trying to get her to give him a blowjob, and he goes, "Put me in your mouth."
Ew.
And it's all I can think about when I think of Jeff Daniels now.
Why
It's
would you tell me that? That sounds terrible.
because I want you to feel my Jeff Daniels pain.
That's the title. That's the title of the blog.
You guys have tried to call the title like 3 weeks in a row now, and you've been wrong every time.
I just said that's the title of the blog. Why did I do that?
Is this not a blog? I thought this was a blog. Someone explain to me what a blog is.
Horrified Ben, and now know not to ever watch that movie.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. It's a super fucking downer, and that scene is in it, so...
Yeah, I don't want you to think I'm backing out of this, but that doesn't sound familiar at all, so I don't think I have seen it. I think
It's okay if you're backing out of it. I don't know why you're so...
I don't want to be associated with having seen that movie.
I was thinking of the one Jermaine Clement was in, where he fell in love with this girl, and it also was like the blank and the blank, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway. Well, that's cool. I'm going to probably watch that, because, well, we're watching Travelers right now, but after that I'm going to watch that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do we have any emails
good question.
or Facebook things that we need to attend to? I'm a week off Facebook, y'all.
Congrats. How's your life going?
Thanks. It's got a lot more Twitter in it, but it's good.
Cool. I'm just clicking over to the snack email. I don't think we have any.
The checking email music.
Ben, you and I are on a level tonight.
Real. I think that's like the fourth time we've said like the same thing at the same time.
Like the same joke at the same time.
Yeah.
No emails. No new emails.
Wow, that's disappointing.
You know?
After that wait.
Sometimes life gives you no emails.
You listeners missed the sassy shrug that followed that sentence. She was like, see if I care.
Let's see, I already talked about our Twitter milestone. We, at some point in the near future, well, in the next 2 months or so, we should be showing up on 2 pods a day, so that's something to look forward to for us and everybody. So homework.
I'm first.
Ben's first.
You're first.
My homework is, if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, get your head out under your fucking rock, you idiot.
Whoa, coming on strong
really
there, Ben.
Antagonize our listeners. That's my plan this week.
That's our new stance.
Why? Yeah, we hate you.
If you haven't watched my thing, then I'm gonna tear you apart.
Intimidate.
Come learn about a new cool thing and then be ridiculed for not knowing about it.
That's my brand. But seriously, watch Lord of the Rings.
It's good.
It's so good. Watch all of it. Read the books, too. The books are good. I'm going to reread them soon.
Now, Ben.
Don't be Lord of the Dings. Watch Lord of the Rings. There you go.
Exactly
If
right.
some Lord of the Dings Ben wanted to get into Lord of the Rings, where would you actually recommend that they start?
Good cue, good cue.
You mean books or movies?
Yeah, or like theater release versus extended, or like whatever.
I'd probably start with The Hobbit, personally.
I was actually going to say I'd start with reading The Hobbit.
For real, though?
For real.
Real
For
talk?
real. I'd start with reading
real
The
talk.
Hobbit and then read... I think
Write to
you
us
should read the books
and
first.
let us know about the themes in it. 'Cause
Yeah. Like perspiration.
Perseveration.
Perseveration.
My precious, that's
Yeah.
another theme.
I think I would read the books.
I don't think
Orlando Bloom is the theme, as I recall.
I don't think I remember what themes are.
Fever is a theme for Hannah right now.
Crying is a theme.
True crying.
True
crying.
crying is true laughing. Okay.
I would read the books starting with The Hobbit, I think, and then watch the movie's extended version. because the only reason I would suggest reading the books first is because there are a lot of characters and there are a lot of names that can sometimes be hard to pick up
True
if you
that.
don't like already know them.
Amen, sister.
And the book will tell you like a lot of a lot of more backstory and lore also, which is fun and interesting.
The books are like the extended version for your imagination.
And we're reading.
That's one of the things with books.
Reading.
Also, my Twitter is @AnyDiscoGreg. I post cute pictures of my cat. He's great.
Does.
He's adorable.
I looked through. You can like look through all your likes on Twitter, and I looked through mine, and it's like 90% me liking your cat pictures, and then like other things for 10%.
Great.
I'm honored.
They're great
Yeah.
pictures.
Como is honored also.
Yeah.
I'll always treasure my time with Como in the basement.
I thought you were going to say more than that.
She just
That's
will.
it. Okay, my homework for you all is to go check out Dames and Dragons. They're on any place where you can find us, basically. So if you're listening to this, then you know how to find Dames and Dragons.
They're in our
Don't
house.
bullshit me.
So don't act like you don't. Don't at me.
Don't at me. And they're let's see. What I did worked out fine for me. So like I said, they're in the actually they might have finished their second arc, but I don't think they have a third one yet. So what you should do is listen to the first episode, then listen to the recap episode, then start going on season 2, and then it's a very manageable amount of content, and it's good and it's funny and it's
Content.
sweet. Is that what I said?
You said content.
Did she?
I don't think I said that.
Maybe you
Content.
didn't.
You should have.
I mean, the record will show.
Oh, okay. And my Twitter is @Anthropology. It's anthropology, like the study of people, with an H at the beginning and a Y at the end of it. Not like the store. Bringing it back.
You're really improving on that every time. Every time we get a little closer to the truth.
And my Twitter,
is what you just said.
No. I meant like content-wise. It's like
It's anthropology, like the study of people.
I'm just stuck in an endless fever loop. Just to give you a sense, my last tweet was a video from before Christmas, where I was making a silly joke where we have remote controls on our Christmas lights, and I was pretending Ian was magic. So
That was a good one. I really enjoyed that. I also liked
I enjoyed
that.
making it. Thank you for the accolades. Shout out to me.
Oh, shit.
My homework is to watch Godless on Netflix and to not freak out when your radio is playing something that you're not expecting. And my Twitter is @EarnBurn. And my Twitter feed is like me retweeting Lin-Manuel Miranda and then sitting in front of my computer and waiting for him to like my retweet. You can find my lesbian and book wait. You can find my lesbian movie and book reviews.
Lesbians? Do you review individual lesbians? And
Both.
books that are not lesbian.
But yeah, I review both lesbian movies and book movies, as a matter of fact. Benjamin. You can find my lesbian movie and book reviews at Lesbian Movie Reviews on Instagram.
You can reach us on Twitter if you want to like know the moment that a new episode gets launched. I always post them there first. Or if you want to see
With a great GIF. With a tailored,
Yeah.
with a bespoke GIF.
It's true.
Yeah, I spend like some actually like probably as much time picking out the GIF as I do like doing the whole upload process. Not the editing, but the upload.
Yeah. And the editing.
And the editing. I spend 2 full days picking out a GIF. That's not true.
She calls out of work for it.
Every week.
I'm sick as a dog.
Cough, cough.
Cough, cough, woof. That's what that means, right? Okay, so our Twitter is at 2broadpod, TOO broadpod. And we have fun there. Shut up, everybody shut up. Okay, and then
You sound like an old person, you know?
well,
Yeah, I
We have a
got my own
Twitter.
book.
We have fun there.
listen, I'm just saying.
You've been on the Twitter?
Oh, we just have a lot of fun.
We post it's not just the episodes. We also post relevant content from the episodes and also related stuff that comes up during the weeks and stuff. So, and
You're
then
right.
our
You're right. We have a lot of
yeah,
fun.
we have fun
Yeah,
there.
you don't have to convince us. We
Yeah.
really do that. It's a good
Okay.
Twitter.
You're like
Our
overselling
ear snack
it.
email is waytoobroad@gmail.com. So if you want to let me know how badly I oversold the Twitter, you can email us there.
Why wouldn't they just tweet at that point?
Because they don't want to dignify it with a response. And then...
True,
And then
true.
you also, if you enjoyed yourself today, you could always write us a review. We've got 7. Why not make it around 10?
Yeah.
That's
8 is rounder than 10. It's got 2 circles.
Ben, you're so fucking
10 is-
difficult.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what adjective was coming there.
10 is more 10-y than 8, though, so...
That's true.
The podcast candle is extinguished.
I guess we need to stop recording.
The end.
Thus end the podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye. Farewell.
Should I stop recording?
No. Keep recording forever.